All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my fight summary on the fight that took place Friday night in the sport of boxing between Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero. So, in New York City, Friday night, Rolly Romero defeated Ryan Garcia by unanimous decision in the boxing card that took place in New York City on Friday night. Now, I am honestly shocked, and I was wrong. I said that Ryan Garcia would get Rolly Romero out of there within the first 4 to 6 rounds, winning by knockout. And I did not see this happening. I'm surprised for two reasons. One, I'm surprised that this fight went the distance between two knockout boxers, two fighters that are known for their knockout power, that being Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero. And I am honestly surprised that Rolly Romero outboxed Ryan Garcia. Now, once Rolly Romero knocked Ryan Garcia down with a left hook in the second round, that same left hook that rocked him in sparring, the sparring video that is all over the internet from 7 to 8 years ago, that took the confidence out of Ryan Garcia for this fight. And Ryan Garcia has a bad track record for fighting in second rounds of fights. He got dropped against Luke Campbell in the second round years ago, got dropped against Gervonta Davis in the second round in 2023, got dropped in the second round against Rolly Romero Friday night. But that's crazy when you think about it. But Rolly Romero's game plan was taking away Ryan Garcia's best attribute. That was the left hook. He was not allowing Ryan Garcia to fight him in the inside. Rolly Romero had a stiff jab to keep Ryan Garcia off of him the entire night. And he was boxing pretty well to get a unanimous decision victory that was well earned in that ring Friday night. And Ryan Garcia's game plan was leading with the jab, but once the signature check left hook was taken away, his best attribute, Ryan Garcia became gun shy, and he didn't know what to do offensively. And that's why Rolly Romero fought well, because every time there was about to be a counter-punching exchange, Rolly was getting the better of Ryan Garcia. I think Ryan Garcia was respecting Rolly Romero's power way too much, and we know this is a guy that somehow, some way, as strong as he is, once upon a time made the lightweight division at 135 pounds. I don't know how he did it, but Rolly Romero could be a weight bully at the welterweight division. It looked like he was very comfortable at 147. And the problems that he was giving Ryan Garcia all night long was the reason why he won this fight. I feel like as the fight went on, Rolly Romero was breaking Ryan Garcia's confidence. As the later rounds went on, you were seeing Ryan Garcia starting to get frustrated, trying to throw the check left hook in there. But defensively, Rolly Romero was on his game. He was on one. You guys got to give him his credit for that. And I feel like there was nothing that Ryan Garcia could have gave to Rolly Romero that was going to catch him off his game offensively. And the hard truth about it is, I don't think that Ryan Garcia is mentally prepared to be back in a boxing ring right now. And I say that with all due respect, because if you look at what happened from April 2024 until now, May of 2025, Ryan Garcia picked up the biggest win of his career against Devin Haney, but that victory was taken away from him because he tested positive for 2 PED tests. And unfortunately, now the report is out. The news is out about Ryan Garcia. Maybe this guy isn't as legit as what he seemed that night on 420 when he was checking Devin Haney with signature check left hooks, dribbling his head off the canvas 3 to 4 times in that ring. So without the PEDs, now you see an average Ryan Garcia to some people's eyes. And yes, he went through a lot. He was suspended from the sport of boxing for a year. Really went on a ultimate crash out. I mean, he was dropping N-words, racial slurs were being dropped. This man basically faked his death online with somebody breaking into his house. I mean, he was drinking at overdose. I wouldn't say overdosing, but he was overusing drugs. I mean, he was in a bad place. But I gave him the credit. He got himself together, went to rehab, but this was a lot on Ryan Garcia's plate for being suspended from the sport and getting himself together. And you could see, honestly, I could see it. Once round 7 happened, and in between the rounds where you see Derek James pleading with Ryan Garcia, pleading for him to turn it up a notch, because he knew he was down on the judges' scorecards. His father was right in his corner too, as the towel man, telling Ryan, wake up, we got to catch up in this fight. We got to make something happen. And Ryan never did it. And when I see a fighter's confidence broken, it's the end for him. Because this is a sport where you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. This is a dangerous sport, a combat sport, where you're in the ring to take out the other opponent. any means necessary. So if Ryan needs some time off, I would take the time off if I were him. But it's back to the drawing board for him. But I gotta give Rolly Romero his credit because he just picked up the biggest win of his boxing career. And Rolly Romero has honestly been through a lot over the last few years as well. Look at 2022. He got his first big break against Gervonta Davis, his first big pay-per-view fight. He was actually defeating Gervonta Davis on the judges' scorecards before that happened. I scored a 3-2 before the 6th-round knockout in 2022, that devastating knockout. I even got Rolly on a t-shirt of it. But as I digress, that happened in 2022. Then in 2023, he accidentally became a world champion at the super lightweight division at 140 when he defeated Barbosa, and with the weakest stoppage in boxing history by Tony Weeks himself, or Tony Meeks. Meeks or Weeks? I can't remember his last name off the top of my head. But as I digress, and then he got knocked out by Isaac Cruz Easter weekend of 2024, defending the super lightweight title, the WBA super lightweight title. So this man's been through a lot, but he just picked up his biggest victory of his boxing career. And I think the sky's the limit for Rolly Romero moving forward, which I'm about to get to in a few moments. But this fight, it was just strange. It was very slow paced. I thought there was going to be more action than this. Very surprised that Rolly Romero fought at a slower pace to slow down Ryan Garcia. That was also a good game plan, but I was very shocked about how this fight went on. Obviously, it was the best fight on that entire Friday night card in New York City, but I am very shocked that Rolly Romero truly outboxed Ryan Garcia and won this fight by unanimous decision. But moving forward, what's next for Ryan Garcia? Now, Ryan Garcia, there's still some options on the table for him. Like I just said, he did not look like himself. He was gun shy in that boxing ring on Friday night, and I don't think he was in the right mindset to be in that boxing ring against Rolly Romero. But as I digress, there's no excuses for him. He lost the fight. Now he could either pursue a rematch with Rolly Romero or pursue the rematch that was already signed for October between himself and Devin Haney. Now, both of them had to be successful Friday night in order for the rematch to be locked in. Devin was successful against Jose Ramirez, but Ryan failed against Rolly Romero. So we don't know if we're getting that rematch or not. And I honestly, a rematch between Ryan and Devin right now, I will hold that off and they meet down the line because both of these fighters didn't look like themselves Friday night. Devin Haney looked like he was suffering PTSD after getting hit by Jose Ramirez a few times. He was on his high horse running around the boxing ring, and Ryan Garcia did not look like himself on Friday night, being gun-shy against Rolly Romero. So maybe this is a fight we revisit down the line. The bad blood's already there, but these two respective fighters, it would be one of the biggest fights for 2025, but right now, I think that fight has lost some steam and some momentum, and maybe that's something we revisit down the line in 2026 or down the line when one of these guys are world champions once again. But hey, anything can happen. But we'll see what's next for Ryan, the rematch with Rolly or the rematch with Devin Haney. Meanwhile, for Rolly Romero, I think the sky's the limit for Rolly at the welterweight division. Here at 147, he looked very comfortable. He's the new WBA regular champion. Now, for people who don't know that, the regular champion is different from the other WBA title. Rolly's basically the secondary champion that the WBA has to offer at this welterweight division, which means he is honestly in line to fight Jaron Ennis in a unified welterweight championship fight. Because the winner of this fight, I said last week on the podcast, would honestly be the mandatory to fight Jaron Ennis. So this could be set for Rolly to win another, or to be in line to have another world title opportunity against Jaron Ennis maybe in the second half of 2025. We'll see. Or he could possibly fight Devin Haney instead next, or have a rematch with Ryan Garcia. I think the sky's the limit for Rolly. He's got some options on the table after picking up the biggest win of his boxing career. But quick thoughts on the rest of the card. Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez was a boring fight. A snooze fest, and to be completely honest with you guys, I fell asleep watching the fight. Now, I'm somebody that likes to drink watching fights, and if I don't fall asleep off the alcohol, then there's something, and I'm sober watching a fight and I fall asleep, something's wrong there. And I legit fell asleep watching this Devin Haney Jose Ramirez fight. I mean, it was basically a running around the boxing ring. Like, it seemed like having Shane Mosley in Devin Haney's corner now was something that was unnecessary, because it seemed like Usain Bolt trained Devin Haney running around that boxing ring for 12 rounds. I mean, What was that? I mean, Jose Ramirez tagged Devin Haney a few times, and Devin Haney was on his high horse, boxing off his back foot, something you don't normally see in a Devin Haney fight for a duration of 12 rounds. Look, like I just said, I feel like that PTSD is a real thing, and I feel like Devin Haney, those left hooks that he received from Ryan Garcia last year, really changed his perspective of being in a boxing ring. And Devin Haney he won this fight by unanimous decision, of course, but he only landed 70 out of 224 punches that he threw in this fight. That is a big problem, a huge problem. Because yes, you won the fight, but this is one of your most disappointing performances that I've ever seen. This is somebody that's a former undisputed champion. Someone that was recognized as a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter up until that Ryan Garcia fight. So it's back to the drawing board for Devin. If I see something like this again out of him, he might be 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the sport of boxing. This was not a good performance against Jose Ramirez. And last but not least, for Teofimo Lopez, I was proud of his performance against Arnold Barboza. Now, I've already said how I feel about Teo. I hate the fact that he uses African American fighters to build up his name in the sport. Calling Gervonta Davis and Terrence Crawford monkeys and gorillas is unnecessary to build your name to be a household name in the sport, because you already got the skills. But I respect his skills in the boxing ring, because when he turns it up in championship fights, it's there for him. He always delivers. Other than that loss that he had against George Kambosos in 2021, he delivers. Look at his resume. Big victory against Vasily Lomachenko in 2020. Big victory against Josh Taylor in 2023. Big victory here against Arnold Barboza, who was a gained, undefeated fighter, and Teofimo Lopez made it look like a cakewalk. He won the counter-punching battle. He led with the jab, fought well in different lateral movements. And he was dancing in the ring. I scored it 11 rounds to 1 in favor of Teofimo Lopez over Arnold Barboza. A tremendous performance by Teo. He could stay put at the super lightweight division, or he could go fight at welterweight. He called out Jaron Ennis in a clever way. He said, "I'm Dora the Explorer and I'm looking for boots." Jaron Boots Ennis. That was pretty clever by Teo, but yeah, I think he had a tremendous performance, but I think performance of the night honestly goes to Rolly Romero, who pulled off a huge upset against Ryan Garcia. But that is my Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero fight summary, and those are my thoughts on the entire Ryan Garcia and Rolly Romero fight card.